We're ready for 141 pounds. At 141, Reese Humphrey, second ranked almost all year from Ohio State, going up against Mike Thorne, the junior from Minnesota. Here's what today's wrestlers had to say.
Reese, it's your senior year. You were a national runner-up last year. You're ranked number 2, having a great senior year, moved up to 141 pounds. You're in the Big Ten finals today, and you're wrestling a real tough opponent. Your thoughts about winning your first Big Ten championship?
This is something I've dreamed about since I was, I don't know how young, since I started wrestling. My father was a Big Ten champion for Ohio State, and I came so close last year for the Big Ten championship and the nationals, and there's nothing I want more than the Big Ten title and a national title, and I'm going to get it.
Mike, it's your junior year. You're 21-5, ranked number 8 in the country. You're a national qualifier from last year, and you just got done beating a tough wrestler from Iowa in the semifinals. But today, you got even maybe a tougher opponent from Ohio State, Reese Humphrey. Your thought about winning your first Big Ten championship today?
Well, yeah, like you said, I just got past Montel, who's, like I said before, a really tough wrestler. And, you know, it felt good to get that win. I look forward to wrestling Reese in the finals. And, you know, he creates action, so do I, so it should be an exciting matchup.
It's the action we've been waiting for, the number 1 seed and the number 2 seed at 141 pounds. There's Mike Thorne, and there's Reese Humphrey, and we're ready to go. Minnesota in the gold uniform with the green ankle band. That's Mike Thorne going up against Reese Humphrey. He's the number 2 ranked wrestler at 141 pounds. Thorne, the number 8.
You know, the first 2 matches really aren't like final matches. They were matches where both wrestlers came out and wrestled. Even though they may not have been that high scoring, you know, both guys were going at it all the time. And Ness scored a lot of points, but some of them were off of Dennis's shots and re-shots and those things like that. So nobody went out there just try to strategically win a match. They're both sides are opening up, and that makes for good final wrestling, which is usually quarterfinals, semifinals of a national tournament. So, you know, maybe the people are starting to figure out what we need to do to promote the sport. Let's get out there and open up, and I think that helps because both matches have been very, very exciting, even though the last one was one-sided. But yet, if you look at it, it wasn't that one-sided that much, except from the score.
Well, Dan, that's what you're spending your time doing a lot, is what's good for wrestling. What do we need to do to bring wrestling to the floor and promote it?
Well, you know, it's out there. We got to keep providing the opportunities for these kids. There's an easy solution. It comes from the NWCA. You work through the tough times. You keep the opportunities. You don't eliminate the opportunities. You keep the opportunities. You may have to cut back a little bit and struggle a little bit, but that's part of the nature. That's the human nature. That is America. And so for those that think it's easier to cut and eliminate, you're on the wrong track.
Coach Gable telling it like it is, one of the our great ambassador of the sport today, out there promoting wrestling as the economic times of today is taking its toll.
Yes, it is, and it's an easy solution. But I thought we were a tough team, and the team is America. And so let's step up and work through those tough times and provide those opportunities for those numbers out there. And if you don't think they're out there, 270,000.
Mike Thorne in the gold uniform here of Minnesota said it best. We both create action, and that's what people like to see. Humphrey, an NCAA runner-up last season, is really only one bad day away from being undefeated. He had a couple of losses at the NWCA Cliff Keen National Duels January 9th. Otherwise, he's undefeated this year.
Well, one thing I like about Reese Humphrey is he can make a lot of things happen in a lot of different positions. On the mat, on his feet, he can throw you. He's got good low leg attacks. He's got good duck unders. And I'm kind of a little surprised there hasn't been more action here, but these guys respect each other, and there's a lot at stake. You know, so maybe this is the typical final match, Coach Gable.
Well, not really. I think what Thorne is, he's using a little tactics because he knows Humphrey has unbelievable duck unders and movements that can score real quick. And because of that, he's just a little cautious with his arms, keeping his arms in and looking for opportunities and bobbing and weaving, but not making too much excess motion that would create opportunities for a really good technical wrestler like that to get in right there. And once he gets in there, he's pretty tough. Close, but you haven't given it yet. There's only 7 seconds, and it's going to be really. Yeah, he does a great job of scissoring, and there it looks like, whoa.
No points. Gary Mayab, the head official, Gary Mayab from the Kansas City area, says no points.
I it was a good call. I mean, one time all of a sudden he had him flat. It looked like, okay, if he holds him there for another second, we'll give him 2, but he didn't. Went right back to that corner cut.
27 years as an official. Gary Mayev is a teacher and a wrestling coach in the Kansas City area. Reese Humphrey will come on top of Mike Thorne. Thorne having a very consistent year this year. He had a disappointing finish last year. Reese, of course, came close to being a Big Ten and an NCAA title, runner-up in both. Thorne went 0-2 in the NCAAs. He spent the offseason getting bigger, stronger, and what a season he has had so far. 23-5 and ranked number 8 in the nation on the Intermat rankings.
Well, Mike Thorne, I think he's due this year to be an All-American. I wrestled with his dad, John, at Iowa State, and he was an All-American for us at Iowa State. And when I see Mike, I see John, and I see a lot of improvement coming here. And here he is in the Big Ten championships, and that means All-American.
Well, you talked about quality, and in this tournament, not in the finals, is the national champ Gomez, who was in the wrestlebacks at 133. Not at this weight, but where Humphreys wrestled last year in the finals and lost in these championships here and in the national championships, and I believe they went to overtime.
Here's your rankings at 133. We're at 141, or there's your summary right there. Write us, BigTenNetwork.com, with your comments about our coverage, the summary so far. There's Tom Ryan. Tom Ryan, the fourth-year head coach at Ohio State. Been a runner-up in the nation twice with the Buckeyes. Wrestled for Coach Gable. We're listening to Dan Gable and Joe Gibbons, their expert commentary. I'm Tim Johnson, bringing you Big Ten Wrestling. It's the Big Ten Wrestling Championships coming to you from Chrysler Arena in the University of Michigan.
Well, you said expert. I know Joe's an expert here, but the thing is, I may not be an expert with his commentary, but if people believe in me in my wrestling passion and what's gone on for the last 40 years, then they're going to believe what I just told them a little while ago about this sport, and so, but it takes people to step up to help out. It was a great shot by Humphrey. He switched off, nice counter roll through by Thorne, which actually allowed him to put the hips back.
One of the matches Reese did win at the national duels was against Thorne, 5-3. They met earlier. All right, 1-0 Thorne on that escape.
High crotch, he comes up, he switched off a little early there. Did a nice roll through there. It looks like he could still come up, but he's able to lock and get his hips back, which gives him the position more than Humphrey.
There's gonna be that set, and then wait on that whistle, okay? Here we go. Head goes in midline, not up front. Here we go. Cover. Shed.
Humphrey, as we talked about, Jim Humphrey, his dad, an Olympic coach both for Canada and USA, from Lawrence North High School in Indianapolis, and wrestled for his dad's club.
Wrestle here.
And Mike Thorne from St. Michael, Minnesota.
Yeah, Jim Humphrey and myself go back a long time. We used to train together. I used to coach him a little bit. He was a finalist in the World Championships. And we spent a lot of time on the mat together over the years, and he's done a lot of coaching overseas for the United States of America. He's coached for Canada, and so this kid has been around wrestling for his entire life.
Reese Humphrey, a runner-up last year, both in the Big Ten and the NCAAs. You heard in his interview how much he wants it. He's a senior. It's his last opportunity. It's 1-1. A minute 31 left in regulation time at 141 pounds. A good look at Reese Humphrey, the Lawrence North product, the senior from Ohio State.
Well, this is setting up to be the takedown, that will probably decide the match here. And Humphrey's had the best attempts, but Mike Thorne's really impressed me with his leg defense.
Well, Thorne's kept himself in this match. It's dead even, and because of that, any wrestler, can win that. I have one guy with a little bit of explosion, and if you get out of position, he can duck in, he can hit these high crotches. But Thorne's been a good job of countering, but. The question is what Thorne has up his sleeve from an offensive point of view, unless he plans on scoring on a counter, which it could happen, but that's not the best way to know that you can win. He's getting him bobbing and weaving, and he did a good little shot there, but he didn't penetrate. But he is setting him up, and then there is a decent shot. He got the leg lock, and he is pulling it up. And so he has an opportunity to win right here.
Mike Thorne in
And
on
he's got that ankle, and he's going to get it. That's a takedown right there.
with 20 seconds left. You said, what's he have up his sleeve? One attack with about 25 seconds
He had
left.
a sweep single, and he came up with that leg, and he got the far ankle. He didn't hang on with it. He got his hips, and he came up with it. Now he can kind of waste some time a little bit, and the clock's going to run out because there is no time left.
Mike Thorne, your Big Ten champion, the junior from Minnesota. Reese Humphrey disappointed for the second year in a row. Loses a close one again. And there's your Minnesota crowd. Mike Thorne gives Minnesota their second Big Ten champion in a row.